we are. It is the middle of December. We have started talking about setting intentions, reverse engineering a business plan. And today I want to dive into the plan with you on this episode of Diaries of a Six-Figure Coach podcast. And a plan, a business plan is something I have seen so many entrepreneurs not use, not do. And I hope that already you start to see that the way I do business planning is very, very different than what you may be used from your time in corporate. If you're like me and you have a corporate background, I used to be a hotel GM and I scaled a business from 7 to 8 figures doing that before I went into coaching. And so I used to write business plans every single year that were, I don't know, 50 plus pages long. Multiple team members were involved in writing it. And it would take us months to create. And this is not the way I do planning. And the other thing that I realized too in the coaching space and my industry and around a lot of my peers is that so many people are like, no, you don't need a plan, just show up and do whatever feels good, just be in alignment. And there's a lot of this talk around there. And I believe energetic alignment comes in through the actions that you take, making sure that the way you choose to build your business, the way you choose to welcome beautiful soul clients into the world, the way you operate each and every day feels good to you, is in alignment with what feels good to you, how you desire to live your life, to feel in your life. But I really believe, and this is my belief, and other people may not have that by not having a plan, we're often sabotaging ourselves or creating this environment really where we are literally saying, I don't need to know how I'm going to do it. I don't need to know what's coming in. I don't need to know how much money I want to make. I don't need goals. And what we're saying and the message that we're sending is that we're completely fine with not knowing and uncertainty, and we're totally cool with that. But in my experience, both personally and with clients and with peers in my industry and other incredible entrepreneurs, what I've seen is that it actually creates an environment that most of us don't feel safe in. So even if we are open to limitless potential, even if we are really believing and moving with alignment, not having a strategy can often make us feel unsafe. It can make us feel or push us into questioning energy. What am I going to do today to show up in my business? What am I going to share? How am I going to show up? Where's my next client coming from? What's the next offer I'm going to be selling? Like, there are so many questions that are coming in, and when we don't see things working, it can really cause us to start procrastinating, to get stuck in busy work, to lose sight and focus of what really matters and what moves the needle forward in our business. And we end up having our energy leaking all over the place. And we keep saying, oh no, I don't need a plan. I'm just in energetic alignment. Now, some of you might be like, I just like operating out of that space. And that's cool, but very, very few people actually are fully standing behind that belief. I really only know maybe 3 people that I could say that really feel safe, not having some sort of a framework that can guide them and or wanting to know or aiming towards having a certain amount of income every single month. So the thing is, safety and security is at the very bottom of the hierarchy of needs. So if we don't feel safe in our business, when we're in a constant questioning energy, when we want to be open to all the potential and manifesting all these great things, but we innately don't feel safe and feel our well-being is at risk because we're worried about how we're going to pay our bills, we're worried about where our next client's coming from, we're in this like contracted energy all the time. Guess what? In terms of universal law, things aren't going to come in. So from a spiritual perspective, you are sending the signal that your needs are not being met at a very foundational level. at a very foundational level. So by implementing a plan, a guideline, an overarching thing, by starting to identify what some of the goals are that you might be, to have a plan, to get clear on how you're going to do it, to have some strategies, systems, and processes that you are clear on, will give you something that holds you, something that focuses you, something that allows you to really put your energy towards creating what you want to create. And you're starting to send a different signal, a signal that's I'm safe, I'm taken care of, my well-being is being considered in this plan. This is how I'm going to do it. And here's what I'm calling in. Here's what I know is true for me. It's the 10 people in my mastermind. It's a full client roster. It's being a sought after coach. It's earning a minimum of $8,000 a month, $10,000 a month or more. And I add to that with what I call the 60% principle. And I just recently riffed on this on my Instagram. So you can go and check it out if you want, because I want to keep this plan focused. But essentially, the 60% rule ties in around being able to earn what I call your monthly income that feels safe when you run only at 60% capacity in terms of the number of people in your programs and services. That's the short version. And the long version, head to my Instagram and you'll find it. You can also send me a message at Theresa Lambert Coaching and then I'll share it with you. But this is something that's really essential. So a plan and something that we can work towards and something that keeps you focused really allows us to create something that is worthwhile, something that allows us to be able to build base, something that allows us to create stability for ourselves, that keeps us focused, that keeps us sane, that keeps our capacity where we need it, and that really allows us to really show up in alignment because we feel taken care of and held and supported. And that's a very loving, gentle environment to be in. This will support your nervous system and it'll allow you to be in a sustainable flow in how you're building your business, and it will supercharge your creativity and will keep your creativity high. When we are constantly in a stressed out state, worried about money, worried about what we're going to do, worried about how it's going to happen, it is going to be difficult. It's not going to feel good to build your business from this place. And at one point or the other, it's really about choosing to work towards something that to you feels good. And I remember doing that myself. 2020 wasn't a great year for me in business. 2020, I made just under $20,000 in sales. It was nothing. It was nothing. Okay. And it was rough. It was rough. As somebody who was making, high six figures, like I was earning around $150,000 a year as a GM of a hotel. And I was used to having that come in as an income, right? As money that I'm paying myself. So to go from that to $20,000 in sales was not what I had planned. And my entire business changed in 2020 because instead of offering hotel management consulting and offering executive coaching to hospitality leaders, everything changed when everything shut down in March. So I was in a constant pivoting state and I had no more plan. And I was quite frankly free falling and I was throwing spaghetti at the wall trying, and I didn't feel safe. I was resisting to putting a plan in place because it felt like I was going to be boxed in, which is what created the foundation to how I teach business planning now and how I create this framework that really holds and guides you while also leaving enough space for flow, enough space for creativity, enough space to play, in a way where really this is how your business supports you. So if you think about being in a relationship with your business, it's not just about what do you do to support the business, but what does your business do to support you, so that both sides' needs are met, so that you can be in this expansive, beautiful, loving relationship with your business, rather than in this hate-love relationship with your business where you're like roller coasting up and down. So I came full circle and I started to realize that by not having goals, by not planning, by not being clear what I'm calling in or what I want to build and how to build it in a way that would allow to put my nervous system at ease, I was really constantly not meeting a very basic need of us, which is safety. So I started to have a plan. I started to work on this planning piece. I started to sit back and think about what is the goal that I have? How much would I like to make in sales each month? How much would I like to pay myself each month? Like I really started to think about all these different pieces that are so essential. And I started to maybe go a little bit too far the other way. And I started planning out each month. And I realized going into 2022, that wasn't really feeling so good for me anymore. But ultimately what happened is I increased my revenue between 2020 and 2021 by 500%. And 2021 was my first six-figure year in business. So within 2 years of being full-time, I hit that numbers and I've been able to maintain it. And I don't know yet where I'm going to end 2022, but we'll see. In a few weeks, we will know. And then I will share that with you. And this year was a different year for me, but things were still working. And I was so happy to have had a plan, especially as I went through all this turbulence. And these last few weeks, as I've been taking myself through this reflection process of looking back what worked and what didn't, I really, for me, saw that I can simplify more. I noticed where I maybe duplicating work, how I can make changes, what would feel better, what offers I want to let go, what offers I'm keeping, all those beautiful things. But having this plan allowed me to really grow. Having this plan allowed me to stay focused. And this is what I also take into 2023 with me, is focus, because your ability to focus in your business, to focus on what matters, to focus showing up for the most important things, is a direct reflection of the kind of results that you will have. So the plan is about being able to help you feel, one, safe, and two, focused. Safe and focused. Safe and focused, and then it'll help you to have fun, to feel good about how you're building your business, to have freedom to play, to have spaciousness in your calendar, to really feel freaking fantastic while you are working towards building your business, while you are creating the kind of economy for yourself that allows you to pay yourself an income each month that feels awesome, by making sales each month that help you feel safe, that put your nervous system at risk, and by having a business model that not only supports what you need to feel safe, and in this case, I'm going to use the word need to feel safe, but also sets you up to have a business model that's scalable, that has limitless potential. So having a plan, deciding on numbers, saying, here is what I want to accomplish, isn't limiting you. When you're doing it this way, it will enable you to grow, to accelerate your growth, to expand, to scale, to be able to have the 5 and multi-5-figure months, heck, maybe one day 6-figure months. Because you are doing it in a way that will feel really good. So you're open to limitless potential. You can call everything in, but you're also saying, I can call all this in because I feel safe, because my well-being is taken care of. So you're moving with universal law. You're operating in alignment with the law of attraction. You are clear what you're asking for. Because if you're not asking for anything, if you're not like, I would like to make this or more, then the universe is like, okay, she's good with anything. Right? Are you good with anything? Is that true? I'm going to challenge you a little bit here, because sometimes we tell ourselves really beautiful stories. But if we can't really back the stories with burning desires and beliefs that we really truly believing and that we're living and embodying, is not going to work. And business, building a business, it comes down to your ability to focus, your ability to show up consistently, your ability to make sure that you are continuously embodying what you're teaching, that you're clear on your messaging, and that you're showing up to do certain things consistently every day to be able to call in the soul clients and to be able to build your business. There is going to be times where you're in a void. There's going to be times where nothing, quote unquote, happens, and you're still going to be needing to show up. And if you stop showing up, guess what happens? If you stop showing up, if you stop talking about your offers, if you stop taking action, you're basically taking opportunities away from people to come into your world. But so often people do something once and then they're like, oh, that didn't work, so I'm going to try something else. And then that didn't work, and I'm trying something else, instead of doing something and then being like, this is what really feels good to me. I love serving my clients this way. So what do I learn from this experience? How can I make it better? Was I clear enough? Did it flow into the offer that I had? If you did a masterclass, right? Like, depending on how you choose to build your business, and that is part of your plan, just high level, here's how I want to get my clients through my business. You will always find yourself in this like red wheel and in this like unhealthy cycle of doubting, questioning, worrying, and it'll feel hard. And this is what I see most entrepreneurs give up and go back to working in a job, to go back to do something that they don't really want to do, and to start having a really resentful relationship with their business. It's like being in an unhealthy relationship, but staying in it. And it keeps growing and growing and growing. Again, bringing it back to this relationship piece. So when we put together this plan based on how we want to feel with this intention, I spoke about that 2 episodes ago. If you haven't listened to it, I encourage you to listen to it. Then we can now take this into consideration as we're really starting to map out some of the goals for our business. And I've actually, over the last week or so, every day shared prompts on my Instagram. And what I've decided to do is have my team put together a workbook for you. So rather than me throwing 1,000 questions at you today, you're able to click the link below and you're able to go ahead and download the workbook. You can also head to theresalambertcoaching.com/bizplan, BIZPLAN, BizPlan, all small letters, and you'll be able to download the workbook from there for free from me to you, and you will get it delivered to your inbox. So you'll have all these questions. But again, the plan is really about creating this overarching map, creating a framework for us to operate in, something to help us feel safe, guide us, and hold us. So some of the things that I want to mention here is around the safety point. What kind of sales, what money would you like to have coming in as revenue, cash sale revenue, each and every single month that would allow you to feel safe? What is that number for you? I really want you to think about that and lean into that, because that is so critical, okay? And then we want to pair that and say, okay, well, if that is what's coming in, how much do I want to pay myself out of that? You know, let's make sure we have that. So let's identify these numbers as goals. And then from there, you can also say, what would you like to make this year? Like, what would be an epic accomplishment? How much would you like to earn in sales for the year? What's the revenue you want for your business? Maybe you're at 80,000 and you're ready for 160. Maybe you are at 100,000 and you want 200. Maybe you are at 50,000 and you want 100, right? Like, what is it that you desire? Where do you want to get to? So there is what you're working towards big time, the safe monthly that you really would help you feel really good. So these are some of the things that we want to identify through this planning. Okay, which is really fun. And then what I like to do, and I just had an epic conversation with my strategic mastermind clients about this, which I'm taking through this business planning process, and enrollment is open for the strategic mastermind. Again, I'm dropping a link if you want to join, hop in. Now is the time. We're beginning January 2nd in just a few weeks, and I would love to have you, and we'll do more on this planning piece to help you get it right. But we spoke about this piece, the monthly number that we want to be able to produce to help us feel safe, what we want to make in sales, what we want to pay ourselves, and then we tied this into the 60%. So tons of other questions that are in this workbook that I'm not going to mention, but I'm asking you to go through it. That'll help you have clarity. But the next piece we really want to look at is your offers. What were the offers that you were selling most, that really had most of your revenue come from? Do you still love these offers? And now how can we create an environment on, for example, things like payment plans and different maybe combinations that allow you to be making your money goal that makes you feel safe at 60% capacity? So that is the next big piece to really look at here, that I wanted to just add some depth and insight through this podcast so that you have it above and beyond all these questions that I'm asking you in the workbook. Okay, so that way we can work towards that. So, one of the things that I am working towards right now, and I was contemplating whether I should be sharing this or not, but I'm going to share it with you all, but right now, really what I am working towards is consistent $20,000 sales month. So for me, that safe number is $20,000. $20,000 each month allows me to pay myself the amount that I want to pay myself, to pay my team, as well as to have funds available to do other things that I want to do. So $20,000 a month is really what feels really good. It feels really safe. It feels also expansive at the same time, but it really puts my nervous system at risk. And I can get there by filling about 5 of my strategic mastermind spots, as well as a couple, like 2 one-to-one spots. So that is how I can get there. And that feels really good. So at 60% capacity, I am able to actually hit that kind of income level. And that feels great to me. So as I was reviewing my offers and what I'm doing, I made a big decision to actually let go of some offers that I had that didn't feel aligned anymore. Or at least not right this moment in time. So I really chose to put my capacity and my energy and my focus into my one-to-one, which is expansive with done for you services and all those things. Like I actually help map out an entire business model and plan for you. And again, if you want to chat with me, this is the time to log in mentorship. Just message me on my Instagram at Theresa Lambert Coaching, and let's have a conversation. I think that's easiest. But for me, it is Ascend, my one-to-one program, and it is my mastermind, which is strategic. And that's beginning in January. We already have one, maybe by now, more people in it. I'm recording this episode a few weeks early. But also momentum. So for me, it's my masterminds and my one-to-one. And then, yes, I have courses, and the courses that I have are for people who are new to business, for people who are still building foundations. And those are self-paced courses now. And I may launch my signature program live once a year, but I'm not sure yet when and if. But my main focus is my masterminds and my one-to-one. And I decided to shut down the CEO Club, the Confident CEO Club, which was a membership space where I served. I did mastermind calls. I did monthly trainings. I did strategic planning calls. And so I decided to let that go, because it took up a lot of my energy, but it really wasn't supporting me in terms of being able to build the income that I want. So the energy input to, and the energy output to energy input, right? Like think about energy out and energy in. It doesn't mean this is what you do and you get money. And think about it as energy in, energy out. It wasn't matching. There was more energy I was putting out than I felt like I was getting in, and that became more and more apparent throughout the year. And it was really difficult for me to make this decision to let it go. But as we're reviewing our offers and what worked for us, we can really see what are some of the things I might need to let go. Where can I simplify and be more focused? And that doesn't mean that you're not bringing things back. In 2023, it doesn't mean that you ever not get to make the change, right? Like, again, this plan is just a guideline. Because one of the things you want to think about is, as we're mapping out lead generation and how we're getting people into our business and how we're having people move through our business, right? There's still going to be other things that you'll be doing, like free events. I just led that free mastermind for 10 days. I'm going to bring that back in just a slightly different format, and I'm figuring out what that is. I will have some free masterclasses coming in 2023, and I'm mapping them out. The first one is actually Velocity, and that is coming. So anyways, keep your eyes peeled for that. The enrollment is almost open, and Blair and I will be sharing with you how you can create a business strategy with magnitude and direction. So that's really exciting. So there's still things that I'll be offering and doing, right? There's still things and ways in which I'm calling people in. So we can have all this variety, but instead of saying, I'm going to do this on this month and that month, I'm just saying, okay, well, here's my core offers. Here's how I desire to have people come in for my business based on what I believe works for me energetically, what feels good for me, but also what I've seen working in 2022. And then I'm taking that into the next year with me. So this plan makes it clear what our goals are to help us make sure that our well-being and safety is in check. It helps us figure out what offers are working for us, which don't, and where we want to focus to make sure that we're able to really get to where we want to go and more in terms of our monetary goals, in terms of how many clients we want to call in and impact. It will also help you, this planning piece, on really having clarity on how you want to show up, where you want to show up, what social media platforms are you want to focus on, how are you getting your message out there, right? Like having clarity on that is so key, because it's easy to want to do everything, but you only have so much capacity between serving clients and marketing your business, right? So we really have to get clear on that. So again, it'll keep us focused so that we're really intentional with how we're using our energy, so you have the time and spaciousness that you want. And then finally, you know, the plan, we also want to look at things like client experience, you know, because the client experience, how clients feel, the results that clients are getting, how we're showing up for them, those are really, really key, because this is what creates social proof. This is what creates even higher vibration and frequency. This is what will carry your message beyond the people that you can see or speak to, because you now have fans out there talking about you, talking about the experiences they have, talking about the impact that you're having. And so this plan really is about this beautiful holistic overview of how we're showing up in our business and what we're going to do, both in business with tangible goals and actions, and how we're going to really be able to get to where we want to get to and then scale from there, while also looking after your well-being, making sure your experience is amazing, making sure your client's experience is amazing, and also making sure that you commit to doing some of the things to keep you focused and spiritually connected. And so I am a big believer to have that part of your business planning process too. And that is the last piece I'm going to be talking about today before we're wrapping this up. It's really, what do you do to keep yourself healthy? What do you do to keep your capacity high? Again, your ability to focus and produce results in your business relies on you also to have the capacity to show up, to have the energy to show up. So we really have to make sure that we stay focused as much as on ourselves as we are on the business goals. Again, right? Like, what needs to be in place in the business? What do we need from the business for us to be able to have the time, space, to be able to play, to have freedom to create, to have the time to rest and rejuvenate without stressing about what happens in our business that continues, right? There's so many pieces to this, but this is really, really key. What rituals and practices do you have that help you tap into your intuition? I lead from my intuition. I take time and I'm devoted to really connecting, to being in stillness, and to be able to build inner trust, to know that there is something bigger that guides me and moves me. And there's a lot of decisions that I've made in my life that didn't make sense to people. There is, I bet you right now, a lot of people who believe that me packing up my things and traveling while working doesn't make sense. There was decisions around bringing a team in when I did, where financially it was really putting a big pressure on me in terms of my business. And some would say it doesn't make sense to bring in a team at this point. But I knew I wanted to bring in a team to free up the time so that I am actually able to scale and able to do it in a way that allows me to have the freedom to play, the freedom to have spaciousness in my calendar. And there was growing pains with this. My intuition told me to go to Argentina, and it was the most beautiful experience. I let my intuition lead me. I tap into my intuition, into the deep center, to see what really feels good still for 2023, and other things that I was doing that aren't aligned anymore, even if they were working. One of them for me was that every month at the beginning of 2021, I was running a free masterclass and launching a paid training on top of having clients. And it was working in terms of the growth of my business, and I was making money and things were coming in, but it was burning me out because I was running at 180% all the time. And I thought it was good, but I wasn't listening to my body. I wasn't listening to my intuition. So as I listened, it was like, okay, we got to change that. This is not working for me physically, energetically. This is not how I want to run my life, how I want to run my business, right? This is not the experience that I want to have. And my intuition is telling me it's time for change, even though my logical brain looks at the numbers and the things, right? So there's this dance. So what are you doing to stay energized and healthy? What are you doing to stay spiritually connected? How are you devoted to that? How often do you take time to really sink into, not just the tangible goals, but really like, what are you manifesting your life to be like? Where do you want to live? How do you want to feel through that? Visualizing every day, dedicating time to that. Every single day I take a couple of minutes and I close my eyes and I think about what it's going to be like to have 10 beautiful entrepreneurs in the strategic mastermind, to have this sisterhood with all these beautiful humans. This space has been so uplifting for me. It's been such a joy guiding the incredible entrepreneurs that have been in there now. And as of January, it's ongoing enrollment too. So I'm building it up to 10. And I cannot wait to be on this journey and to be in this space of mentorship, of connection, of community with these leaders as we walk this journey together and build these beautiful, soulful businesses that allow people to make a living and more. Like scaling, like the conversations we're having in that space are just so good. So I close my eyes and I imagine 10 souls in that space with me. What it would be like to guide them, what it would like to serve them, what it would be like to support them, what the conversations will be like that we're having, what the celebrations would be like that we're having. And I really feel into that. And I feel so much gratitude for what I'm experiencing now in that space, but what that will be like. And I know it's going to happen. Because if you can imagine it, it's already done. So the spiritual piece, the capacity piece, that is the last thing. So beautiful prompts have been put together for you. Put them in a gorgeous workbook. You can download it. You can have it. This is my early Christmas gift for you. Get this workbook, work through it. You've got questions about it. Send me a message at Theresa Lambert Coaching. Maybe you're really inspired now or moved by what I shared and are realizing, having some guidance around how to build my business, not just in a way to produce results, but also to make me feel safe and put my nervous system at bay would feel amazing. And I want to come into strategic, amazing. Hop in. DM me at Theresa Lambert Coaching or click the link to the site. You find out more information of what's included. If you want more details, you can find them there, but you're also able to schedule a call with me to come in. I'm really specific around who's coming into this space. And I want the right group of entrepreneurs in it that are really ready for this level of mentorship and growth, for this sisterhood, for this connection. There's got to be a synergy. So come in, let's have a conversation about what's next for you. And perhaps the strategic mastermind is the space for you that will help you play a bigger game and really get to that next level that you want to get to. And I've already had, as I mentioned, one incredible entrepreneur who joined. I've got a couple of people who are thinking about joining, who I'm having conversations with. So right now, this moment in time, as I'm recording, there's officially 9 spots open, but there might only be 7 or 6 or 5 by the time this episode airs. So come on in, come into my world. And yeah, take some time to plan and to rethink and readjust what you might feel or think about a business plan. So the plan gets to be expansive. The plan gets to hold and guide us. The plan gets to help us stay focused. It is not about boxing us in. It's about setting us free. It's not about stalling what we can do or restricting us, what we can do each of month, but rather expand us and help us stay focused so that when we are taking action, we're kind of like a panther. We're like a cat. Like, think about cats for a second. This is how I think about when I have a plan. Cats sit. They don't waste a lot of energy. They don't roam around a lot. They spend a lot of time sitting and observing. They're holding that fire in. But they know when to pounce. And when cats pounce, big cats like panthers, black panthers, when they pounce, they get what they want. This is why I have a plan. This is how I love building my business, with intention, learning to hold some of my fire in so that when I'm ready to pounce, I pounce, and it creates the results that I want. To have the patience while lying outside tanning and being ready to move. To use that, the feeling, the power of that, the potency of when I take action as a guideline, as a measure of if it's working or not. To have the feelings, the word, the pillar of stability while things can still change. So yes, there's a plan. Yes, there's specifics. Yes, there's tangibles. Yes, there's practical. Yes, there is like, do this way because you know you fucking love it. But it's also that the actions have potencies. The actions is what drives, and the action is taken when it's time to bounce. The right action at the right time in the right energetic frequency is what moves the needle forward. And yes, there's actions every day, but that doesn't mean you're doing things every day. So with this being said, I just love doing this. It's been expansive, dedicating some longer episodes to this, and I think it's so important. I can't wait to hear how this all lands for you. It really lifts my heart, makes me so happy. And honestly, I am so excited for what's to come. Next week, you're going to be hearing from Amelia Lehman, who's incredible. She's one of my amazing strategic mastermind clients. We're talking about human design. We're talking about being fully expressed, and we're having a really juicy conversation. So I'm so excited for you to hear it. And yeah, then we're heading towards 2023. So buckle up. It's going to be an amazing year. I can't wait to welcome some of you deeper into my world, whether that is you coming in and grabbing this beautiful business plan, or you're sending me a message at Theresa Lambert Coaching and talking about actually coming and working together and co-creating your next level together. And so that I get to support you in your beautiful growing business and help you scale in feminine flow. I love you. I'll talk to you all next week. One more before Christmas. And we are also going to be changing locations before Christmas. So I'm so excited to let you in where that is. And my goodness, I'm just at awe. So take care, peace, and I will be back next week.